at a solemn music. Let the musicians begin. Let every instrument awaken and instruct us in love's willing river and love's dear discipline. We wait, silent in consent and in the penance of patience, awaiting the serene exaltation, which is the liberation and the conclusion of expiation. Now may the chief musicians say, lust and emulation have dwelt amongst us, like barbarous kings have conquered us, have inhibited our hearts, devoured and ravished with the savage greed and avarice of fire, the substance of pity and compassion. Now may all the players play, the river of the morning of the river, flow out the splendour of the tenderness of surrender. Now may the chief musician say, nothing is more important than summer. And now the entire choir shall chant, how often the astonished heart, beholding the laurel, remembers the dead and the enchanted absolute, snow's kingdom, sleep's dominion. Then shall the chief musician declare, the phoenix is the meaning of the fruit, until the dream is knowledge, and knowledge is a dream. And then once again the entire choir shall cry in passionate unity, singing and celebrating love and love's victory, ascending and descending the heights of ascent, climbing and chanting triumphantly. Before the morning was, you were, before the snow shone, and the light sang, and the stone, abiding, rode the fullness or endured the emptiness. You were alone. At a Solemn Music by Delmore, Schwartz. I think that's a lovely poem. I chose this poem today because of what I saw on the weekend, and I think it's very fitting. Delmore Schwartz, 1913 to 1966, was an American poet and short story writer. And unfortunately, he was only 52 when he died. He won the 1936 Bowden Prize for an essay. He taught at Harvard University, and he believed that only by revisiting childhood in poem after poem could he understand himself. He had quite a sad life. He fell into alcohol and barbiturate addiction. If you ever look up Clara Bow, she was a silent film actress who had basically done everything by the age of 25, and the rest of her life was nothing. And when I read about Delmore Schwartz, I get the same feeling. He peaked very young, and then it was a very tragic, sad decline. By the time of his death, he'd been excommunicated from the literary world that once hailed him a genius. And his body lay in the morgue for 2 days before anyone claimed it, which I think is very sad. Many people now think that his stature as a poet has been surrendered to the clamour for myth. It is sad. I have got some of this information from a very good essay written about Delmore by R.K. Hegelman, Hegelman. He became a fabulous opera. And his life was a bit it had the tragedy of an opera, I think. He had a very unhappy childhood, and his father left the family, and he was constantly trying to find this missing father. And at one point he was highly regarded. In Dreams is one of his really well-known poems. I've chosen this one, and this one, it's not that easy to find, but as I said, I read it and I think it relates to what I saw on the weekend, so this is why I have done this one. It's in this essay, Helgeman says his wit became vile, his intelligent pedantry, his honesty a reflective brutality. So everything you read of this man, it talks about, and I think people are trying to get him to the public fore again, and I hope I can with this as well, because so many people, when they talk about him, they're talking about his downfall rather than his work. And he did produce books, he produced essays, and he produced poems, and as I said, he taught at Harvard University for quite a few years. But yes, I find it very sad when you read of these people, and I'd also I think, you know, when you peak very young, you're left wondering, what will I do with the rest of my life? And Delmore, he had most of his success when he was young, and as I said, he lived till 52, and there was all those lost years. Sad, very sad. But we have been left with his poetry, and I like this one. And not all poems have to rhyme. So, yes, and here comes Donald again. I've tried a different spot and he's come again. So, let me know. Here he is again. I'm going to hold this while I do this bit. Sorry about that. Let me know if any of you have ever heard of Delmore Schwartz, if you know his poetry. I hope some of you do. And I hope by doing these poems, people look at poetry more. I really hope they do, because it is an art form that needs to be preserved. So yes, I'm going to keep doing them. I'm going to keep doing them on Wednesday. I have one for next week picked out. I've actually got a poem. I'm going to try this for the next 3 weeks. So we'll see. And the one next week is very apt. So yes, poems on Wednesday. As I said, I'm still in my house sitting place, as you can see, and I said Donald is still stalking me. he's such a beautiful boy. So I will be back on Friday, and Friday is actually Books and More. It's not actually going to be about books, but it's going to be something different and something that's really good that I was reading about the last few days. So enjoy the rest of your week, and I will be back on Friday. Now, also, if you are looking at my videos, and quite a few people are looking at them and not subscribing, if you like what you see, I am trying to build the channel. So if you could please subscribe. It does make a difference, and I am really trying to promote, as you can see by doing poetry, I review shows, I'm really trying to promote art and the artists. It's not so much about me, it's about who I'm talking about. So, yes, please think about subscribing if you like what you see. Okay, I will see you on Friday. Bye.